Okay, so today we are going to be doing a completely free to play 3-star RGB teams for the Water Abyss dungeons in here, which it took me a minute to do. So that's why it took a while, because in here, if you look at here and look at this passive over here, it says in the Abyss, all elements that counter the boss's attribute deal 50% more damage and take 30% less damage, which at first I didn't know that. And I was building other units. I was building water units and stuff like that. Then I was like, why are they not doing that much damage? And then I realized that I figured this out and read this and was like, oh, I need to be only building wind units. So that's what I did. So I went over, looked at all of the wind units, 3 stars, which there's not a lot. So this is the only options. I was looking at all the damage dealers. It's like, okay, I have damage dealers. He is not a damage dealer. Okay, that's a damage dealer. Not a damage dealer. Not a damage dealer. Not a damage dealer. Damage dealer. Okay, that's 2. Not a damage dealer. Not a damage dealer. Damage dealer. The 3. Not a damage dealer. Not a damage dealer. Not a damage dealer. And I was like, okay, I have 3 wind damage dealers. That's all I have. So I'm just gonna have to use them all. I'm gonna have to use all 3 of these. So that is kind of the only option. At least these are the only like damage dealers that I feel like would make sense. Like this guy does damage, but he's not gonna be able to do a lot of damage. So these 3 100% will be doing the most damage out of these 3. And they also have some defense breaks. Defense break on skill 3, defense break on skill 1. So we have defense breaks and we have some damage. We're good. So I was like, okay, those are my 3 damage dealers. And then all I needed to do was have some tanks and have an attack buff. So this is the team I came up with. This guy, what he does attack buff and crit rate buff. So he'll go first, and then it doesn't really matter what goes second or third or fourth, but as long as this guy goes last and this guy goes first, that's kind of the only main turn order you need to focus on. Just these 2. This guy first, this guy last to decrease the cooldowns, and then we're all good. And AI, I have his skills on all the way. For her, I have her skills on all the way. If you'd like to, you could turn either hers off, or you can turn her skill 1 on high, and then because it does the defense break, but the skill 2 will do more damage, so I chose to do that one. The skill 2 on high because I want to do more damage. I have her skills on high, except this one is only if they need healing. I like to have the shield that she provides on my team. This guy is all on if 2 or more enemies is cooldowns. The bouncing joker, I have his skills all on, except his skill 2 I have on only if there needs healing on the team. But for the clockwork, I turned his skill 3 off. Since I already have an attack buffer, I don't need his attack buff, and I already have a speed buffer with him, so because of the skill 3, so I don't need anything that skill 3 does. All I want him to do is do damage to skill 2 and damage to skill 1. So I turn his skill 3 off. So if you wanted to, you could use him as your attack buffer, but you'd have to put more crit rate. With since I have a crit rate buff on him, these guys only need 55% crit rate. Some of them have a little more than that, but 55% is the least you need because element advantage and the crit rate buff is good. And I will just show you guys the run. Everything has gear. Yes, beautiful. I'll show you guys the run. Okay, so now we finished the run. With my gear and the gear I have, I'm not quite able to get the 4 million damage for the triple S. So close, but not quite there. So if you have better gear than me, 100% this will get you there. This team will get you there for sure. And if you don't know, 4 million is the minimum you need to get the triple S. But even if it's not here again, but like even if you don't get triple S, you'll still get golds and you'll still get purples in here. So you don't need to worry about too much, but it is still better if you get triple S. Even when you get triple S with 4, then sometimes you still get all blues. So it's whatever. So this is the team. That's the team that'll work. This team also will do this one as well. This team is also really good, but not as consistent as fighting this team right here. This boss is very consistent with this team, but this one right here is not quite as consistent because the way this boss works with his shield, and I think it's this one, I don't know, but he has an ability that if this takes too many hits, it'll AoE do a ton of damage, and then right after he has another skill. I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah, it is this skill. This skill will also go and attack all enemies with doing a huge amount of damage, and sometimes it'll wipe out your whole back row. But with this team, it's about a 90% success rate, I think, about a 90%, just because this boss, just because the boss's mechanics. Sometimes before he can heal, he just gets these 2 skills off and wipes your whole back row, so you just end up dying. But I will auto this team as well and speed it up and show you guys the run. Yeah, and if you look, sometimes that attack will wipe the whole back row and even these 2 guys, but as long as one of them stay alive, you're good. Don't need to worry about it. And since the boss does 30% less damage to wind units, then that's what you want to use. That's why you want to use them, because they don't die there. If you're thinking like this team's not super consistent, because of that, even the speed team, even my fast, good speed team, 300 luck, is not 100%. It's like, it's better than these ones though, because it does more damage, but it's not 100% because the boss's mechanics with these 2 skills right here, both of them can very easily wipe your whole team for no reason. And you're just like, okay, now I just have no team. Even the speed team, 100%, even will sometimes just not do it. So let me do cost. I'll have triple S, so I'm not going to be in here, sadly. Like with this, even these teams, 100%. They're not 100% because of that. So is a little annoying. And with this last boss, its mechanic is there's AoE units. There's AoE, there's a ton, you need an AoE unit, at least one. So it's basically just your entire team does less damage because of that. But this will still get an S. It won't get a triple S though, which kind of sucks. Won't get a triple S, won't even get a double S. I think sometimes it might be able to. If you had good gear, I do think this would get a double S, but I don't think you'd be able to get a triple S with this team. Specifically because you need an AoE unit, and this is the only real option. Like if you look at these wind AoE units, which one has AoE skills? The only 2 that have even an AoE skill is the Steel Wings and the Garleon. Unless I'm wrong, but like I'm pretty sure out of all of these wind 3 stars, the only 2 that even have an AoE skill is the Steel Wing, which is not a damage dealer, and the Garleon, which is also not a damage dealer. But the Garleon only has 2 skills, and the Garleon is the better option out of these 2, because if you have the Steel Wings, you'd probably have to turn the skill off, or else it'll probably use this instead of this, and then you're screwed. Because if you don't have a guy that kills the AoE monsters, you're gonna lose. So he is the only option for AoE damage dealer, which is kind of funny. And I'll just auto this one as well and show you guys the whole run. Okay, I got a double S. So you can get a double S. Sometimes this team will get a single S, but that's mainly because of the Garleon. You have to have something to do AoE damage, or your entire team gets wiped. That's just this boss's mechanics. So you have to play with the mechanics, basically. And if you look over here, the sharpshooter is actually the one that is doing the most amount of damage, and then it's the clockwork that includes with, yeah, if you see, you still get stuff, you still get the purples, even golds. I've seen golds. So that is the run. I do think this one will be very difficult, if not next to impossible, to get a triple S with this specific team. I do think you would have to get something else as the AoE damage dealer and or even the clockwork, because the clockwork isn't insane damage, but the sharpshooter does a lot more damage than the clockwork will do, because the clockwork is a skill 2. That is all it does. But with these teams over here, I do think if you had good gear, if you had better gear, and you even farmed it, like if I farmed this and then I upgraded this gear, well, he doesn't have any gear right now, but if I had upgraded this gear to be even better with what I farmed from this guy, and then I honestly do think this would be able to get triple S fairly easily. It would just take a little bit longer. I personally don't want to do that, specifically because I already have a super fast speed team, because I have the gunslinger. So that is why. And by the way, that is the biggest upgrade, is just throwing a gunslinger in here. If you show the gunslinger in here, it's really broken. This will 100%, this will triple S all of these, not all of the water ones. It won't triple S this fire one, obviously, or this one. The gunslinger will help you 100% triple S. And also, if you happen to have this war nurse, this team right here is really broken. This will work. This team will win with him. I tried it on accident. I tried it with him not even having gear on with like this because I switched it on to my guy Royan, and I tried it like this and I triple S'd. I had 50,000 500k. I had 4.5 million damage with this team, which is kind of funny because he didn't have any gear on. But if he had gear, I would even be higher than that. So if you have her, 100% use her in all these teams, and you'll easily be able to get the triple S with no problem. Just throwing her in there, or the gunslinger. And honestly, those are kind of the only two options for a triple S. Like if you want to upgrade that free-to-play team, I honestly think those are the only two options, is the war nurse and the gunslinger. I honestly, looking at the 4 stars, I haven't really looked at the 5 stars, I guess, but like, yeah, I don't think, even looking at the 5 stars, I honestly think those two are the only things that will get you a triple S, which if you don't have the gunslinger, what do? That's kind of it. You'd just have to build this team and upgrade the gear even more, which the team I have right now, even not the craziest gear, will still jump double S. And if you're farming these, the radiator is 100% the best one to farm, and that is the easiest one to farm as well, especially with this team. And I think that's it. So if you learned anything from this video, like the video, subscribe, because I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff on Element Fission, and see you in the next video. And also one more thing, like if you want to, you can join my guild, and then I just swap my friend rep to the war nurse, or if you would like me to swap it to the gunslinger, and then you can just use my friend rep, and then that to at least do more to very easily get the triple S, even if you're just doing it a few times a day. It's 100% worth it, in my opinion, if you'd like to. You don't have to.